friends, this is Amanda. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Oakland County, Michigan. I'm an A7 size girl in an A2 size world. I make 5x7 cards. This isn't supposed to be a voiceover, so sorry about that. Had some technical issues again. Please note my host code if you're going to be participating in the seasonal sale and do not have a demonstrator. This is the perfect time to grab the cardstock and ink from the annual catalog. If you have all your bundles already, but the bundles are 20% off. The designer series paper is 20% off. That's going pretty fast. And the cardstock and ink and all ink. It was even on blender pens. I'm not sure about the markers, but it was a lot. There was some great prices on there. So you'll want to look into that. We're going to be playing with the Autumn Expressions today. And instead of doing a 5x7 card, I want to make a standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We'll be using the sentiment, "May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy." I think that's really beautiful. A few of the other sentiments are, "You've got this," "Dear friend," "Have a perfectly lovely day," which is what we're going to stamp on the inside, "Grateful for you," and it has some great secondary stamps along with the sentiment. So I'm trying to decide between Old Olive and, what's the other color that I'm looking at? Pecan Pie. I am playing with the Autumn to Remember designer series paper that I believe came in a scrapbooking area. So let me just check to make sure. I'm cutting this at 4 1/4 by 11, and then I will score it at 5 1/2. I want to look at the paper. Here we go, paper practicing. And I'll just fold that. And I'm going to use the bottom of my trimmer to get what I need, to get the perfect crease. So I'm going to put both sides in there and then score up. So that'll work. I'm right now using pecan pie, but I'm going to change it in a minute, because I just don't think it's the right color to go with my crushed curry. Let me tell you, Sweet Days of Autumn is the designer series paper. And let me tell you, it comes with 12 sheets, 4 of each 3 double-sided designs. So you get 4 of each design. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yep, 6 different patterns. Really cute. I love these patterns for fall. Let me get you the colors. Basic Black, Cajun Craze, Crushed Curly, Early Espresso, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Pecan Pie, and Petal Pink. Now, the Pecan Pie and the Crushed Curry just wasn't as bright. So I'm going to change that, but I really want to use the sticker. It's kind of a cheat, I know, to use the sticker instead of cutting it out or whatever, but I really like the fact that this cute little deer is already in the circle. I don't necessarily like the directionality of this because it's so, you know what I mean? I'd like all of my animals in one direction. So I'm going to use this side. I think it's really pretty. It's one of the 6 designs. You can fussy cut this. I don't think that the Brothers Scan and Cut would cut all of those out. I think some of them are just a little bit too light, so I don't know if it would pick it up. I'd have to try it, but I'd love to get all the critters out of here. I think that would make a fun, grabbing some of the critters. You can fussy cut, but the last time I fussy cut, I got actually a blister on my thumb. So yeah, after fussy cutting a lot. So, all right, I'm going to cut this. The crushed curry I cut it, for 3 3/4. Nope. I'm sorry about that. Let's try this again. I cut the crushed curry at 4 by 5 1/4. I am going to cut this piece of designer series paper at 3 7/8. So I don't go all the way down to 3 1/4, and I'm going to cut that at 4. across. So it's kind of like this right now. Just have that little peeping edge all the way around, and then have this big, this big piece at the bottom. But I'm going to want to cut this at an angle. So I'm going to put it in my trimmer. I have a little bit of a weak crease there, weak edge, weak corner. I'm going to put my corner in the trimmer, and then I'm going to do a slight angle. And I'm going to put that where it says number 2. I'm going to kind of line that up just right around that area. It says a number 2. I think those are centimeters. I don't know. So 2 centimeters or over, whatever. And that's where I'm going to cut that. And I'm going to cut it from the straight side to the corner instead of the corner to the outside. So I'm going to take it from the outside and bring it in, because if I was to start at the corner, of course, I'd crush that corner if my blade was even a little bit dull. So I'm going to have just a slight angle, not too much, but something to give it a little bit of pizzazz. And I'll line that up like that. I'm going to use, see, this is when I decide Old Olive. It's just a little bit brighter, don't you think? I'm going to show you. I kind of like the Old Olive better. So I could use this piece of paper, but then it wouldn't be a top folding note card. So I'm going to grab another sheet of Old Olive, and I will cut that again. I'm going to cut that at 4 1/4 by 11 and score it in half at 5 1/2. Now, again, I want to tell you that my crushed curry piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and that my designer series paper is 3 7/8 by 4, and then I used the trimmer to make a slight angle. Here again, I made my card base perfectly even by using the edge of the trimmer. Hope you use that and that helps you. And then I'll just put this card together really quickly. I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal Plus, and that is a very, I would say sticky. It's much stickier than our seal, and then you don't have to do that check mark with the seal. But yeah, I use the Stampin' Seal Plus, and I use a lot less of it. All right, I really want to use this cute little dough, and I'm going to put it right here. Now this is a sticker, and it's pretty thick. I want to pop it up, so I'm going to, I guess, use a trick that someone told me, is to use the anti-static powder bag and get the unsticky. So I don't use my Stampin' Seal very heavily, I guess I should say. I use a lot less of it than I would my Stampin' Seal. So my Stampin' Seal Plus, I use a lot less of it than my Stampin' Seal. It's a little bit more money. I'm not quite sure. I think it's the same amount of tape, adhesive, but I know that it's a lot stickier, and it's a lot easier because it's already perforated and it's thicker than the Stampin' Seal. The Stampin' Seal is very thin, but it does give some give because I needed to pull it up here, and I don't think that my top line is perfectly even. I didn't make a good cut. Oh, I'm so sorry, friends. It's after 10 here today. I wanted to make sure that I finished a card today and got it up for you. I would have just said I'll do it tomorrow or I'll redo this card, but I wanted to get this up to you guys and fulfill my promise that I was going to try very, very hard to do a card every day since the 11th, and since today's only the 13th, I wasn't going to wait. It wasn't going to crash and burn that quickly. I do have some, I have a very, very, very busy weekend. So I don't even know what, I will just do what I have to do. And if it's midnight, it's midnight. I really want to try to make a card a day. And maybe what I'll do is during the day when I have some free time, but I'm not able to make a card, maybe I will sketch one or look on Pinterest or come up with some ideas. that I can show you. I get, I just wanted to show you these cute things off of this sticker paper. It's well worth it. It's very adorable. And if you're a scrapbooker, it's a must have. It's so cute. I was going to say that how I come up with my cards, I normally just start with a sketch. And that's, you know what I mean? I come up with a sketch and then I find some paper and something that I want to use. Now, because I did this anti-static powdery thingy, I needed to wipe off some of the powder before I put my dimensionals on it, because then it wouldn't stick. One of these didn't, so I didn't do a very good job. But I start with a sketch normally, and then I look around and I see, you know, how I want to make everything work. How I normally choose a sketch is I decide if I want the focal point maybe to be a square or a rectangle or a circle, if I want a heart, if I want to showcase like this particular deer, there's a circle. So I kind of look for something that has a circle in it. I'm just saying this cute little sentiment that says change can be beautiful would be perfect if I did a 5x7 card in this particular one, but it's just not big enough. So I'll have to do that another day. I didn't like how much the sentiment went over on the deer. So cute sentiments in here, lots of fun things that you can use. Even if you're not a scrapbooker, but if you are, I think this is a great set for you. But like I said, those cute little arrows and banners are just adorable. I really like this set. But so anyways, let's start again. So I choose my, for instance, I wanted to use this deer, so I know that I wanted a circle. So I'm going to look on Pinterest for interesting card sketches that have a circle in it. And I found this one, and so I was able just to come up with this card. That's how I start my cards. This is a piece of Cajun Craze, and at first I'm going to cut it at 3/8 of an inch. I want something behind my little doe here. Just the cutest little doe. But I end up cutting it at 1/2 of an inch. That seemed better for me. And this is a pretty rough piece of Cajun Craze. Has some, you know, structural issues on both sides, but oh well. You learn to live with it, right? So I will put that right here. And I'm going to put it well over I'm going to put it to the card base, just to the card base. I hope that makes sense. Not to the panel. And I will use my scissors to trim off a banner. So I take my tip of my trimmer, the tip of my scissors, and I make a snip in the middle of the cardstock. And then I go out from each side up to that spot where I snipped it, and that creates the banner. And I'll just add some glue to these because there was a lot of anti-static powder tool powdery stuff all around it. So I added that. It is just the sweetest card. I just want to make this an everyday. I could send this for anything. I could give this to you just if you're feeling blue, or just because, you know, wouldn't it be nice just to get a card just because? No special reason, but, you know, just getting a card is, oh, so nice. I think that what we do really matters as card makers and givers, as long as we give. I'm not a very good giver, but I think it's important. It makes people smile. It's just not an email or a text, which we get a lot of those, but I didn't like these hearts here. I thought that I might, because they're just the cutest little hearts. They are very thick cardstock stickers, very thick. So, you know what I mean? This little deer is going to hold up perfectly. I do want to stamp my sentiment, and I'm going to stamp it in the bottom right hand side. This particular stamp is red rubber, so that's going to get a really good impression. And the stamp portion of it is almost perpendicular, mainly perpendicular, I should say, to the words. So the bottom portion, the top has a little bit more stamp material that I like. So I'm looking at the bottom here and I'm noticing this is perpendicular. So that's where I'm going to train my eye to position it on my card because I've already put my card together. And I'm going to use Early Espresso. And so when things like this happen, and I already have my card together, I'm going to use my glass mat to just make sure that I got it straight on the block and that, yes, it is perpendicular on the bottom. These glass mats, I believe, are for sale from Stampin' Up. If you don't, and I like the white because I can see through it. I know my Tim Holtz one, when it was black and I couldn't really see. I love my Tim Holtz one, but the white of this I can stamp on these grids and make sure it's straight. So that's a really nice feature. And then I will ink that up and stamp it down. How are you guys doing? Are you ready for Christmas? Are you ready for Thanksgiving? Someone just told me today that Thanksgiving and Christmas are only 3 weeks apart, so it's going to go very fast. I can't believe it's actually November. I'm a little taken aback that I'm so far behind. I have this event this weekend. I had an event 2 weekends ago, and I was just not, I was just not ready for them. I was not prepared. I did not have all my ducks in a row because I just can't believe it's that time of the year and it's gone so quickly. So I do want to use the sentiment, have a perfectly lovely day. And I could have used basic beige. I don't think white would be the perfect color for this. Could have used basic beige. Even the little dough doesn't have any white in it, so I didn't really want to use white. I mean, it would have been stark. I don't see any white on this side of the Designer Series paper. So I decided to go with an odd choice of the Petal Pink, which is kind of like the neutral. Does that make sense? So it's kind of the, I don't know. Basic beige might have worked better. The other side definitely would have worked with basic beige better. But I just thought that I had to use Petal Pink on this. Let me know if it's too pinky for you. I want to tell you how I set up the stamp set. How I set up the stamp on my block. This has a lot of fun and cursively writing, so I'm going to get it kind of straight here. Just taking my piece of cardstock, blocking out all the rest but the have a. And the have a is on a nice straight line. The P kind of goes up and around, and you know what I mean? So I just want to start with the have a, and then I want to get it straight on my block. As long as I can get my block straight, then I can normally stamp straight. So then I'm going to, again, use the top of my block to stamp, to, kind of figure out where straight is. See if I got my stamp correctly on there. And I did. So that's how I load up my stamp on my acrylic block. I make my stamp words straight straight on the block, and then I can use the top of the block to kind of make it straight. To kind of make sure that I stamp it straight. I hope that makes sense. I know a lot of you struggle with stamping straight, and I think it's because you aren't lining up your stamps straight on your block. And it does take a little bit of extra time, but I'm glad that we don't have wooden blocks, so. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. This is a beautiful, look at that. Isn't that a gorgeous set? Have a perfectly lovely day. Gorgeous sentiment. I'm not big into the dies. I didn't want that little change purse thing. That wasn't for me. It was just okay. What is the stamp set called? Autumn Expressions. Again, it's a red rubber. It was in the mini catalog, so be careful This one might go away, and this one's really nice. Like I said, there's some secondary stamps here. I thought that would be pretty if I used a different color brown, maybe the pecan pie and Stamped Off, and put the wood mark kind of on the side of the Perfectly Lovely Day, having it going over a little bit. But then I decided, I don't really want to mess it up. So I do mess it up, and I don't go low enough here, or over enough. So I'm going to try stamping it several times to see if I can make it work. Let me know what you think. It actually looks like I stamped it 3 times rather than it was one stamp and it was pretty. So I'm a little bit bummed about how the inside of the card came out, because I really wanted, I like this wheat set. I like the wheat a lot. That wheat stamp set, so beautiful. It could be by the beach, or it could be really, you know what I mean, a pretty fall, you know what I mean? It could be lots of different things. It could be tufts of grass, or it could be this wheat, which I'm choosing to make it wheat. But you could make a really pretty sympathy card out of that wheat. You know what I mean? Just add a little, it could be a very masculine sympathy card. So I think you should look into this set if you don't already have it. I think the sticker sheet is pretty inexpensive, and the paper is gorgeous. The 4 other papers are very neutral. These are the only 2 things that have a little bit of more than pattern on them. You know what I mean? Have a little bit more of a larger pattern. The other ones are subtle and great, and they'll work with anything. But what do you think of my card? You love it? You hate it? You think I should have went with pecan pie? You think it's too colorful, not too bright, not bright enough? I kind of wanted to use these metal embellishments. They have little dots on them, like hammered, like they're little hammered ones. But then I remembered there's a perfect set that goes with these, and I was hemming and hawing. I'm like, oh, I think the embellishments this time could really set the tone of this card. So if I was to do the metalled hammer ones, it would be a little bit more not as cutesy, I guess. But I wanted to go full on cutesy, I guess, with these beautiful embellishments. I'm just going to trickle them up there. What I don't like is there's no blingy bling bling on this. Everything is very muted, and fall is so vibrant of colors. It's funny, my husband has been trying to get rid of the leaves now. We have lots of trees, so we've been trying to get rid of the leaves. He goes out like every 2 days and picks up the leaves with the lawnmower. It's not working. It's not working. Every 2 days there's just more and more and more and more. But he said he doesn't want to get too far behind because they'll be 4 feet deep. So let me know what you think. I made my promise. I'm really glad that I stuck to it. So I will see you soon. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks again.